You're retracting and depressing the spine. You're packing the shoulder so it's safer on the shoulder joint. Has anyone ever wondered, like, God, that arch in your lower back does not look safe or healthy? Anyone ever had that?
Used to.
Yeah, used to, yeah. Think about it though, you're perpendicularly loading the body while you're arching your spine. You're not standing up doing this while you have the bar coming down on you that way, right? Which is why we don't want to overarch on the squat. Are you going to get a cramp in your lower back and maybe your hamstring and your glutes from benching heavy and doing all that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's because you're asking yourself to hold an end range of motion isometric contraction. It's not because you're at risk of injuring yourself, although I actually have seen somebody tear something benching. No, I haven't. No, so that extreme level of arch in the lower back is not necessary to still get all those benefits I talked about of basically having thoracic extension, retracted and depressed, and solid feet, and creating a solid bench. So for example, well, I'll actually show you the example. First, let's, Andrea, go ahead and get set up for a powerlifting bench the way you normally, just bench.
Okay. Ooh, I never wear a shirt also. Or not a sleeved shirt.
Just bench and
sliding.
Cool. Okay. Go ahead and rack it. Now there's many ways to set up for a bench. They're all designed to maximize the arch and stay tight and prevent hips coming off the bench, which is the most common technical error in powerlifting. Okay? You want to show me the
one man? Want two of them? One for each side?
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, please. I should shoot. Just let it.
You want to show the one where you
Hit the
crazy chick one?
I don't know if I can do the crazy shit.
Come on.
Which one? I don't think I can.
I can't even demonstrate.
Like this one?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah.
That was the worst. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of the gals are really good at that. We'll start with their, basically what they do is they start
like this?
with their feet. Yep, exactly. There you go.
And then don't move my feet.
Correct.
Just fit there. Oh
Get
my
your feet
God.
in the position where you want to bench. Yep. And you don't do that with your feet on the side.
Oh, when they stay?
Yeah, you start with your feet in the most back position. Okay.
I can't breathe.
Right. In powerlifting, you have to keep, in ITF at least, heel contact with the floor, no moving of the feet, butt contact, upper back contact, and head contact while you're benching. And the more you can get an arch, the lower the range of motion. The wider you can get your grip, the lower the range of motion. Now obviously, the more you bring your grip out, the more you could potentially be at a mechanical disadvantage. Okay? It makes sense. You don't want to be benching like that. Right?
So do it and don't move my toes. Keep your heels up. Keep your heels
Yes.
up.
Yep. Well, then once you get set, then put your heels down. Yeah. Drive those heels to the ground.
I can't. Flexibility.
Just do it anyway.
Do it.
There you go. See? You're fine. That's so there are two ways of getting to the same position. Okay. As a male, go ahead and hop up. I'll actually do my setup. As a male, I have a very similar setup to what you did initially. This is a little low, but I will start here, get into my upper back arch, bring myself forward, plant my head, retract and depress, bring one foot down to plant my butt, create tightness on this planted foot, and then get my other foot drilled into spot and drill this one in, and then I'm ready to go. Okay? This way, I have the least range of motion possible, so I can have a mediocre bench. Okay? So, the version of that for a bodybuilder is basically just don't care as much. Okay? So set up as if you're a bodybuilder, just get a little bit of a thoracic arch, stable base, retract and depress the shoulders.
Is the normal grip or like my
Whatever grip you would want.
If I was a bodybuilder.
Probably a little closer. Yeah.
If I was a bodybuilder.
Okay.
It'd be more here than here.
No, we'd still talk about it. Okay. Still the same concepts. You're creating a slight decline, you're protecting the shoulder joint, creating a stable base. That's really all the goals are. Okay? Now, about grip width. There is a max legal grip width in the IPF that only matters which is basically you have to cover the ring. So it can't be visible to the judges. Should everyone go max legal? No. It actually really depends not only just on arm length, but segment length of the arms. Imagine if I had the exact same length of arms, right, but my elbow was here. Okay, what would happen if I was, so right now if I'm max legal, we see that. But if I was longer here, I'd be here. And if my elbow was here, now all of a sudden it would look like that. Right. So I would, all of a sudden it wouldn't look architecturally sound, right? The bar wouldn't be over my wrist and my wrist wouldn't be over my elbow, I'd be out here. When you look at someone at the bottom of a bench press, their elbow should be underneath their wrist, okay? Right? So that means that you're basically, you want to go as wide as you can while still being architecturally sound. Does that make sense? Okay? Also, when you view it from the side, your elbow should be underneath your wrist, okay? If it is out here or here, that's not a good thing, okay? Anyone ever heard of a J curve? Okay? That's the idea that when the bar touches your chest, it should then do a little bit of this kind of scooping backwards in there. So if you looked at it, it looked like a J. All right? Good benchers tend to do this at heavy loads. And basically, you're getting away with not having as much of a shoulder moment and getting it to a stronger position before you then go into lockout. Okay? Don't try to have a J curve, though. Okay? Just think about benching up and back a little bit. This is the first cue, especially if you struggle. Most of the time when I'm with a good bencher, especially the wider their grip is, I'll say back, 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 because they get stuck here and they'll want to go that way. Okay? I find it really common with women who have a wide grip. Okay? So, I don't know if I should have focused on that until we got to individuals. But anyway, grip width is based on your anatomy, where it's at the bottom. You should have your joints stacked. There's no reason to go wide if you have pain. Just go less wide. Okay?
Tuck traps. I mean, we say
yeah, tucking. Right. So, who's ever heard you bench with your lats? Anyone else? You can be honest. Okay, cool. Remember that a lot of the people who are the original progenitors of teaching us how to bench wore bench shirts. Okay, and they came from the school of this, right? Shirted bench pressers. You have to pull the bar to your chest to even get the press command. And you do need very strong lats and be very strong back to actually get the bar to your chest. Because what a bench shirt does is it puts you into this position naturally, so you actually have to load it. I like to tell a really fun story. There's a meet that Berto and I did way back in the day. It's 2008? Sound right, Berto? 2007? Late 2007. Raw lifting was not really a thing yet. We went to meets and we lifted raw, and they just laughed at us and beat us because they had suits. So anyway, we do our squats, and then we do our bench, and we're going to come back in, and we think, oh, we got plenty of time, and we hear pull, 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 and we go, fuck, we missed the deadlift. We run in there, and it's this 93 kilo guy, this big roided up bodybuilder too. No offense to anyone who may happen to do that. All right. And he's got 185 on the bar. And he hasn't got the press command yet. And he has 185 kilos, and it's right here, and he's rowing as hard as he can. Okay, it's a 93 kilo male bodybuilder on steroids who cannot row to his chest because he's getting more than 185 plus his max row of assistance off his chest. Think about that. That changes the way you're going to bench. So when you hear someone tell you bench with your lats and you need to tuck and then explode up and do that, that does not apply to a raw lifter. And most raw lifters who bench press over tuck. What I'm talking about is their bench press will look like this. At the bottom, they'll be in this position. They'll touch the lower in their chest. Their elbows are towards them, and then they'll try to do that. When you do this with the shirted bench, you're going to get sprung to here, and then you have to do lockout. That's why you'll also hear these guys talking about all these very strange exercises for training the triceps, because that's really all they have to worry about is the lockout. Okay? I don't actually think you need to think about tucking. Most raw lifters and bodybuilders in general just think about retracting the scapula and depressing it slightly, just keeping your humerus locked in place and keeping your chest high. And then just bench. That will typically take care of the appropriate amount of tuck that you need.